All right, Joe, I'm going to show you something that I'm sure you guys want to know, and that is how to set your stop losses so you're not losing too much money, and also you're not getting stopped out at the bottom and watching price skyrocket without you, because I know we hate it. So this is going to be a perfect one. Lit is a great example of where to set your stop losses. So as you guys can see, I identified a pattern. See this falling bull flag, right? You see the flagpole coming up. You can see that price is respecting these lines. Now, before I go ahead even further, just know there's no, at least that I acknowledge, there's no given formula. There's no, oh, well, 5%, 10%, 2%. There is if you look at your risk management and your risk tolerance, and you tell yourself, okay, I cannot lose more than 2%. Like it is what it is. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, if you can't lose more than 2%, you probably should be traded in the stock market and not crypto, because crypto will do 2% in 30 seconds. But just for example, let's say 10%. I cannot lose more than 10%, or I could not stomach seeing my portfolio down 10% on that trade. Then set your stop at 10%. I mean, you told yourself what your pain tolerance is. For me, I'm okay with seeing my stuff down 30 or 40%. Um, Not okay, but I've done it before and it's come back and it's maybe 3x. That being down 30 or 40% obviously is not ideal, but sometimes you get caught in a BTC pump or dump, you know? So, uh, again, sometimes you don't set your stop losses and you get caught. I mean, if you see another opportunity, great. But usually after there is a dip, there is a rip, right? You need the dips to make the rips. So with that in mind, there's no set formula for stop losses or where to put them. This is how I set them. So you guys see the pattern here, right? Also, we're identifying major market structure here. If you can see, there's a lot of support right around this area right here. Let me draw a rectangle. We're seeing support along that level. And how do we know? Yeah, the candles are there. But remember, guys, look at volume. So do you see volume increase? If we zoom down, volume is actually, well, compared to right over here when it first dropped, volume is actually highest around this area, at least for the last month or so, right? No, not even a month, a couple weeks. So the last couple weeks, this has been probably the highest concentration of volume, and that was where the bottom was put in. So that's basically saying, hey, anything below this, there's a lot of supply for. Do keep in mind though, that below here to right there, all right here is a gap, right? So usually with gaps, they do get filled. So if we do have a big dump or a pump, right? And I'm going back to BTC because you guys see when you learn the charting, it tells you exactly where it's going to go. I didn't sell my BTC just because I've been holding it for so long. I don't really sell my BTC. I just like now I bought it into Acro and it's up. I bought it like 85, so now it's up. So that's great. But I don't really sell my BTC. I just invested into other coins, right? But back to lit. So there's a gap that needs to be filled right here. Usually price will fill. So say BTC drops from here and it corrects back to 53, right? Or even if it drops right here, 54. I don't think 54 would push lit down. I really don't. As you guys can see, there's not a lot of volume buying or selling. And as you guys know, I call this bullish selling because it's going down, but there's not a lot of volume, right? So this is just selling, and price action is like water finding its way down to the ocean again, right? Think of this as the ocean. This is where all the liquidity is waiting. And we know that because we see the support here and we see this gap here. And obviously you see the resistance here. So this is going to be a great buy zone Even if you want to get in, make sure you get in, right? You could put your buys up right here. So I'm going to be putting 990 might be a little high. I think you can get it a little bit lower, but if you want to make sure you get in, 990 would be great. Uh, I'd say even down to here if you want to put some stink bids all the way down here. But again, that would be like BTC would have to just drop from here to here quickly, not slow bleed. It can't just kind of slowly go down like it did here because these alts are too strong right now. At least it seems like, right? They're too strong. They're holding too well. You guys see Acro. Look at Acro. That was eaten up very quickly. It's holding. Even DNT, I bought in yesterday up here. I thought it was going to break out, got faked out, right? Or I think it was over here. It went up a little bit, came back down. I just sold right here to break even because I saw what BTC was doing and I want to see a confirmed break before I get in. But alts are holding strong. So with this, and I'm going to finish off here to make this kind of quick and concise. So these are your buy zones. So you ask, where would your stop loss be? So say you bought along this green line, right? So say you figured, man, maybe there's a quick wick and it comes down to 970. I'm going to put it at 974, 975. Say there's a bigger dump. I would put your stop loss like right below here. So reason there, I'd say like right here, right? 927, yeah, 927, 925. You guys can see there's really no wicks that have touched that area. So that would be safe. Just keep in mind though, if you really want to be safe and you believe in lit, like I believe in lit, and I think it's going to pop off, I would say your stop loss probably here, below this buy zone. Because if it goes below the buy zone, then that it's a significant dump. And then if it hits, you can add an alert to say, hey, stop loss was hit on lit, right? And you would know that it's coming down. There's probably a big dip on BTC, right? Unless lit there's a hack or I don't know what. You never know what can happen with these smaller projects. But then you would start placing buys around this area, right? So from here, buy zone, stop loss probably below the buy zone or somewhere in here, like 918, 920. But again, if you get stop loss here, make sure to be ready and to be ready to buy here if it touches here. I don't think it would go back below this point. Again, it would take Bitcoin dropping from here to here, or even going back down to here to the 5. So like 52.2, which is not out of the question. That's only $2,000. I mean, for alts, it sucks, but for BTC, it's not a lot, right? So, yeah, so let me mark this. I'd say safe stop loss would be right there. More aggressive stop loss would be right here, but then you'd be looking to buy in on this line right here, right? You would want to buy in if there's a huge dump, because that'd be like 30%, right? That'd be like a 30% drop. So it would take Bitcoin to drop 7, 8% to do that. Maybe even 5, 6%. But I would look for buys right here and then along the 382. Right. So again, you guys got to have a plan. So yeah, it could hit here and bounce up. And then you'd be like, man, I shouldn't have put my buy down all the way down here. But let's bet that Bitcoin will stay strong or at least steady. Lit will come back down here. I'm even planning on buying a little bit here. I'll start at like 10, I'll start at 10, see what it does. If it starts to come and break this line here, a lot of times with these smaller coins, they'll kind of move sideways like this, right? So they will move like they'll hit this, hit here, come back down, and then they'll break out, but there's not a lot of volume, and they kind of just mess around, right? And then all of a sudden they take off. So keep an eye out for that as well. But just so you guys know, I'm setting alerts to buy anything from like $10 down to 9.54. Um, Again, if there's like a 3 or a uh, 5, I'd say anywhere from 3 to 7% drop, then you can probably expect to buy more here. So maybe another strategy, buy like 25% of your bag here when it hits like 9.90, 10 and 10. Wait to see if it breaks here, right? And then you can buy a little bit above 10. If it breaks below this, buy another 25% here, and then you can set the last 25% of your bag in this buy zone. So if it does drop, you're not having to like, oh, let me sell this. And then if it comes back up, you're out without a bag. Instead, just add to your position all throughout here. And then it'll average if you buy from here, right? Like from $10 down to, I'd say like right here, then your average. And if you're doing it 25% each or 20% each, your average is right here, like 983. That's good. You might be negative for a little bit, but it should come back up. So yeah, guys, I have a great feeling about this. As you guys can see, zoom out. There's only 3 other times and it's a newer coin, so keep that in mind. But usually I like to look at this RSI as an indicator. It's hit basically oversold, which is like 30 and below. And usually you guys can see a bounce. Here it's been kind of struggling, right? So this is flat. RSI is flat, but price action is going down. So yeah, it could continue to go down, but chances are we're in the zone, the opportunity zone, because it's showing us chances of going down are a lot lower, continually going down are a lot lower than going up. And as you guys can see on the 4-hour chart, I know it's a newer chart, but it's hit 40 for the first time since it's been a coin, right? So all this is like, hey, this is really buy zone if you're looking at odds. If you're looking at odds and you're strictly an odds trader, I like to bet on odds as well. Then this is your time to buy. Start buying in now. If you guys like this project, and like with Front, I bought here. I literally bought like all right here, and then I sold probably right here to buy more swerve. And as you guys can see, I missed out on a 7x. So lit is showing basically the same, for me, the same kind of indications that Front was. As you guys can see, it pumped, came back down, but it was kind of going up, right? It had this uptrend, and it never really broke that. Lit, on the other hand, has gone up, and it's formed more of a textbook bull flag. So first target would be here. If you bought here, that's about 40, 50%. Second target be up here. My ultimate target I would love to hit the 618 here, but I don't know. We would need a lot of hype around it. That's 100%, but I think it's possible, right? Because it lands exactly on the 618, and price loves to find its way to the 618 here. But keep in mind, first target, second target, stop loss if you're buying here. So that yellow line, the 921, would be a stop loss if you're buying right here and you're more of a conservative trader, you don't want to lose. And then really aggressive stop loss, and this would be like 20, 25% loss. So keep that in mind, would be down here. But buy zone, I'd say all right here. And yeah, guys, let's get this money. Let's get this money off of Lit. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording here.